Hello everybody, I am Angry Bird. Early access to the Tribute to D-Day DLC today. I'm excited to bring you a quick first look at the 2nd Infantry Indianhead and what you can expect from the DLC, which is out June 6th. I am excited as hell to look through these, and hopefully you are as well. Let's have a look. I am going to run through this quicker than I've done first looks in the past. We've got 6 brand new divisions to come in the DLC, and I want to try and get them all out to you ahead of time so you can see what's coming, get excited, and yeah, enjoy it on Saturday when it releases. Right, so first up in the Recon tab, we've got some fairly standard units. This is the 2nd Infantry Indianhead. They are a specialised infantry division, but I'm going to highlight a few units along the way. We've got the Ranger Marauders, the return of the Ranger Marauders. Obviously all of these divisions coming across from D-Day, but the Ranger Marauders were a particular favourite of fans of Normandy. I personally love them as well. They've got the 3 Thompsons, just probably I think the best light machine gun in the game. They've got the bazooka. It's just an amazing anti-tank weapon, 250 meter range, over 100% accuracy because of the upvet. 10 rounds a minute. I mean, bazookas are just amazing. And they also get the brand new Willie Pete, which I haven't played yet at the time of recording this, but check out my stream, twitch.tv/angrybirdlive, and you'll see some early access footage of me playing the divisions. But Willie Pete is a Molotov cocktail style grenade as far as I'm aware, although it says anti-tank grenade, but then it has no penetration, so I'm not 100% certain. I guess I'll find out. Make sure you come join me on the stream and you'll find out at the same time I do. Another one to highlight here, the snipers. Having these in the Recon tab, they are particularly good units for infantry divisions. Those sniper rifles just pin down units incredibly well, so look out for lots of snipers being used. Definitely recommend taking snipers. Let's head into the infantry, and first up we've got the assault group. Brand new units, lovely different kind of uniforms for each unit, and we see the sergeant tag there as well. Beautiful. They've got the 2 Thompsons, they've got the 6 M3 grease guns, which have got pretty high damage, 3 damage, and pretty high rate of fire as well, 100 meters. So these guys are going to be pretty deadly at close range. 8 men. They do have the smoke grenades as well. You can get 12 of them in B, 24 in C. Bit similar to the Aftermachiki. We'll have to see how they do. Will they be better than Avtos, or will they be not as good as Avtos? They do also come in like the GMC HMG with the 50 cal, I think, on the top of that. Yeah, 50 cal on the top of that truck there. What else do we have? We have the basics. These are disheartened American troops, and they've got a reasonably decent loadout. No machine gun, but the M1 Garand and the M1 Carbine are good weapons, so I still think they'll be a fairly useful unit. You can get 12 of them in A and 18 in B, so slightly less than like the Cherno-Pizzaniki Ersatz-Truppen combination, but I can definitely see those being taken in A phase for sure. We've got the Rangers LMGs, 1 M1 Carbine, 3 M1 Garand, 2 Browning machine guns, 6-man squad. They do have the Raider tag, so these are the guys that can go behind enemy lines and hold the front line. But will we see them used? Not 100% sure. It's only a 6-man squad. I guess they're there to supplement maybe the basics with those Browning machine guns, but we'll have to see how much use they get. Now we have the Rangers with the flamethrower. 3 Thompsons, 2 grease guns, a flamethrower and smoke. They are also Raiders as well. I think we are going to see them used. They're in limited numbers though. I think we'll see some of them used, but maybe not too often. At the moment, the meta just favours spam of standard rifles, basics, you know, big squads. So these kind of specialist units, they are going to suffer a little bit for that. We have the Ranger Leader with the 2 Thompsons, M1 Carbine and M1 Garand, as well as 2 TNT shells. The TNT shells might come in useful, but you only get 2 of them in A phase. And it's A phase only, so they may not be taken as often as other leaders. We'll have to find out, but they will be useful with those TNT. Then we've got the standard rifle squads. These are the mainline infantry. We've got a Thompson, 9 M1 Garands and 2 BARs. I think these guys are going to be pretty strong, and they are priced like that. 9 of them in A, 15 in B, and 27 in C, so an interesting curve there, but I definitely see these being the backbone of the 2nd Infantry, and I can see a lot of rifles being used in this deck. We've got the Demolition. These have the M2 Carbines, 9 M1 Garands, Flamethrower, and the Bazooka, so you are going to want these guys around, but they only come in C phase. That Bazooka paired with the Flamethrower can really make them deadly at close range, you know, against infantry with the Flamethrower, and especially against tanks with that Bazooka. And then finally, I'm just going to have a quick look at the Rifle Leader. So these are an 8-man leader squad. You can get 2 in A, 4 in B, and 6 in C. And I think these guys are going to get taken more often than not. They get the sniper rifle and they get the bazooka, and they're an 8-man squad, remember. So if they are revealed using that sniper rifle or using that bazooka, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get, you know, destroyed quickly. So definitely a good squad to have. Moving on to the tank tab, we've got M5A1s, 8 of them in A phase. That's probably where they're going to get used, although will they get picked over the Shermans? That's a big question. 6 Shermans in A phase versus what, 8 M5s? We could see just a standard Sherman lineup, and I think with the points code, I expect we'll see 2 M4s and maybe the M4A1 Rhino at the end of the day. Beautiful skin that, with the sandbags on the front, the roll on the back. Lovely, lovely skin. And is that like a covering on the barrel? Not 100% sure there, but the M4A1 Rhino, 120mm of frontal armor compared to the 90mm of the standard M4A1 is going to make them, you know, decently potent. You know, they are going to be able to stand up to a lot more punishment from the Shermans, but you can only get 1 card. You can get 10 in B, or you can get 15 in C. So yes, it will be interesting how people use this unit, how they get on with it, because the gun is still that 90mm of penetration. So at 2,000 meters, they're gonna struggle to penetrate. You know, they are. So yeah, it'll be interesting how people use this unit. Moving on to the support tab, we have those flamethrowers. I'm pointing them out because they're key to a rush game. So they are in the unit. We've got the M1919 MMGs. We've got the M2 HB HMG, the 50 cal there. Obviously the 50 cal better than the M19 30 cals, I think they are. So yeah, most people more likely to take the 50 cal. We have the Ranger T30 HMC, and it's beautiful to see the actual troops in the vehicle, the driver and the gunner there. Oh, and seeing him through the little shield. Beautiful, beautiful. So this has heat shells, 90mm of penetration. I mean, it's not amazing, but in an initial push, 4 of them, 30 points apiece, I can see them being used. And remember, that 90mm of penetration, because it's a heat shell, is all the way at 2,000 meters. Doesn't have any drop off in penetration. So that is one good thing about these T30 HMCs compared to like a Sherman. A Sherman firing at 2 kilometer range has got less penetration than this T30 HMC. We have, interesting, the Crocodile. British Crocodiles in the 2nd Indian 2nd Infantry Indianhead. We got there. We got there. Yeah, crocodiles, fantastic. 150 millimeters of frontal armor. These are the big boys of the battlefield for the 2nd Infantry. They're the guys that you're going to push out ahead, you know, let them tank the shots. So it's nice to see these crocodiles in here. You can only get them in sea phase though, and you probably want them unvetted. So they do come in late and they are very slow, remember. We do also have some M4A3 105 Ws with those heat shells again, but more importantly the HE shells. These do land a big punch and are generally used, you know, to take out those supporting weapons on the enemy side. Into the anti-tank tab, we've got the standard bazookas. These are very potent right now. I'm seeing a lot of kill lists from the top pros pointing out how powerful the Panzerschrecks and the bazookas are at that 250 meter range. They've kind of been out in the meta for a while, but I think they're, in terms of the units in the anti-tank tab solely, they've been out the meta, I think, but now they're heading back in and we're going to be seeing a lot more, I'm sure, in Steel Division League Season 3. We've got the M1 gun, pretty standard anti-tank gun for the Americans. The big boy, the M18 Hellcat. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this one. 76.2 APCR, and it's got 8 APCR shells, so that is a fairly decent amount of APCR shells. You aren't going to need to, you know, you're going to want to micro on and off these APCR shells, but with 165mm of penetration and 8 of them, you know, you can stand up to several tanks before you're going to need to reload those APCR shells, if you ever do. The AP shells standard 130mm of penetration, 7 rounds a minute, 55% accuracy. The big advantage, the speed of these Hellcats, 95km road speed. These will be, well, they would be amazing to rush forwards, but they are locked to B and C phase here, so you can get 6 in B phase, 9 in C phase, and the downside to these Hellcats, 20mm of frontal armor, so theoretically those anti-tank rifles could even penetrate these, and although you're not really going to want them pushing that forwards, I think you want to keep these, you know, as far away from that Soviet infantry as possible to make sure you aren't going to lose these to anti-tank rifles. But yeah, basically any long range AT weapon, so any kind of long range tank, even the cheap T26s might be able to penetrate these fairly reliably. Any anti-tank gun, the M42 45mm, which litters all of those Russian decks, any kind of German pack gun, they're all going to penetrate this thing. So is it a big advantage or will it be a crutch? Who knows? Who knows at this point? They also get the M10A1 tank destroyer and the M5 gun for the heavier anti-tank role. Only one card of those M5 guns though, so this being an infantry division, ever so slightly lacking in its, you know, AT gun options. But those Ranger Marauders paired with the bazookas, you know, bazookas on every infantry squad, these things are going to be, you are going to want to avoid getting into close combat against this division. Anti-air, just 2 options, 3 slots. We've got the M16 MGMC, which is the 50 cal, 4 of them on the back of the truck. I don't think this is going to be fantastic. My knowledge of the German of the US half-track guns, if I remember, the M17, I can't remember if it's the M17 or the M15. The one with the 37mm is the good one. Anything below a 37mm is not so good, as far as I remember. So I don't think these are as good an option as the Bofors. I think most people will pick the standard Bofors, 3 of them in A phase, 6 of them in B phase. I think that will be most people's anti-air tab for this division. Move on to the artillery. A couple of interesting choices here. They are the 60mm mortars, and I love these guys. So fast on that rate of fire. 40 points. You can get these. I mean, look how many you can get. But A phase, you know, I'll probably end up taking them double vetter, which takes them up to, oh, quick mass, what? 36 rounds a minute. They are going to just chew through that ammunition very, very quickly, but you can get them in A phase. I mean, you do have 6 of them, so you can replace them quite easily at 40 points a pop as well. They are going to be hellish to deal with, pushing forwards early on against this division. Now, interesting here, let me just double check as well. No, interesting here, the mortar 81mm has a radio. The first standard mortar we see him with a radio. And yeah, that is a tough choice now. Do you take the 60mm with that huge rate of fire, or do you take the 81mm because it has a radio on it for a mortar? That's amazing. I love it. What else do we have? The 107mm. These also have a radio, or it's not quite marked on the unit card yet, but I'm pretty certain Eugen are aware of this. This is early access footage, so things may change between now and the actual release version, and I'm pretty sure Eugen are aware of the missing radio tag here as well. So these 107mm mortars, they also have the radio. I mean, mortars are going to be potent in this division. If you like playing mortars, play this division. We also have the M2A1 howitzer, 105mm, and we have the M3 howitzer. These can come in jeeps, and they have the heat shells, can be very good on the front line. Unexpected AT. We have the M21 mortar half tracks. Just so many mortars. We also have the xylophone, which I know a lot of people out there are going to love these xylophones. I love that unit model. And they are 100 points. You can get 2 in B, or you can get 4 in C, and they move pretty fast, 70 kilometers per hour. There's 16 rockets, but there's like 2 lots of tubes. I haven't played this, I'm not 100% sure how they fire. I think when you fire, it fires 1 lot of tubes, and then you have to, and then it will reload that lot of tubes, and then if you select fire again, it will fire the second lot of tubes, rockets, while you're reloading the other one. Not 100% on that. We'll have to wait and see. Remember, jump into the stream, jump into Twitch, make sure you follow me, make sure you know when I'm streaming. You'll see me play this division, and we can work it out from there. And they also have long toms, 4 of them in C phase. I mean, most people are going to take them in C phase. You can actually take one in A phase if you want, but I think most people are going to take them in C phase, 4 of them. I mean, long toms are just huge artillery pieces. They have those radios. They can decimate the enemy, and you get 3 cards of these. These could be pretty hefty in team games. And then finally, the M3 OP off map, 203mm from those BL 8-inch guns. Pretty good off map. I think we'll see that taken. Off map's very strong. I mean, so many artillery choices in this deck. How can you pick between them? Who knows? Onto the air tab, and it's P38s and P47s. So we've got the P38 fighter, the Lightnings, and they can also act as close air support with those 20mm cannons, or the one 20mm in the nose. You can get 4 of these in A phase, or you can pick the P47D Thunderbolt. You can only get 3 of these in A phase, so you get 1 less, but they have the 8 Brownings. They also have the close air support tab, 670 kilometers per hour versus the 640. A bit better agility on the P38 compared to the P47. I think it's going to be a choice between what you prefer. And beautiful looking skin here with the P47 D-25 Gabby, the ace. Oh, look at all those German flags that this man has shot down, and what a lovely skin. What an absolutely lovely skin there for Gabby, and look at that lovely red nose. Ah, it's just wonderful. Wonderful. I love it. I love it. And I'm going to be taking this just because of the skin. So we have, again, these are basically the same unit as the P47s. 3 of them in A phase, 4 in B phase, and 6 in C phase. So, you know, you've got a bit of a choice there. We also have the P47D fighter bomber with the 1 to 30 kilogram HE bomb. 130 points, I think it's maybe a little bit over expensive, but you got to remember these planes can act as pretty decent fighters. They have the 8 Brownings on them, so they can be pretty decent fighters. So you are bringing these in, they are fast and they can act as a fighter, so I can kind of see why the price is maybe a bit more expensive than the Russian or German kind of light bombers. P-38J with the rockets there, 3 in A phase. I'm not quite sure whether they'll get taken. Rockets I don't think are quite as powerful as the bombs. You've got the 2 450 kilogram bombs on the P-38J. I think this card could be a winner in A phase. I mean, those 450 kilogram bombs are deadly, but you can also get 6 in C phase. So, you know, is it A phase? Is it? I think the choice here is between A phase or C phase, because you only get one more if you choose B phase. So I think most people will probably opt for that A phase card. Well, I suppose it depends how you set the deck up. Do you set it up in Vanguard, in which case you probably want it in A phase to support your initial assaults? Do you set it up in balance? You get more of them. You can put it in C phase where you can really spend the money on them. Finally, we've got the P-47D-23 tank buster with those 127mm HFAR Mark II anti-tank rockets. I mean, what is there to say about this? You get 1 in A, 2 in B, 4 in C. We'll have to wait to see how good these rockets are at penetrating tanks, but yeah, I mean, this is probably a must in the division. And it's going to be interesting to see how the air tab lines up, how the artillery tab lines up, and how this division lines up as a whole. If I'm going to pick my favourite unit of the division, I think I have to go with the P-47D, Gabby, because it is just a beautiful, beautiful skin. Look at that. Right, I am going to leave it there. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, Tribute to D-Day DLC comes out on June 6th. Don't miss it. Grab the DLC, join me in Steel Division 2, and yeah, let's get back to Normandy in Russia. See you guys later.